I'm Elizabeth, and I'm the founder of Badass Tours.
One of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons the Hortus was founded was because all of these plants were coming back from Indonesia and they wanted to kind of study them. So I always feel like this is a good point to talk about two women from Indonesia. Chut Nadine, she's kind of the person you expect me to talk about. She led this massive revolt against the Dutch. And when the Dutch invaded her homeland, she started on literally a lifelong mission of revenge. Arguing for women's education. During this time, her father and son and husband were all killed fighting to get the Sultan back on his throne. And she decided that it was her new mission to punish the Dutch. So she found this guerrilla group and she basically took it over. She seized a guerrilla group. At the time that I moved here to Amsterdam, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I just started researching the city and I discovered all of these amazing female Amsterdammers who I would have written about back in New York, but I couldn't because at that point they were only being written about in Dutch. So I made it my mission to just tell their stories. Since then, we've expanded, so we talk about LGBTI, so LGBTQ history, especially before the 20th century, because a lot of tourists and Amsterdammers alike really only know about, gay liberation. Likewise, we started doing Jewish history because we saw that most people just know about the Holocaust, and we wanted to talk about the 5 centuries of Jewish Amsterdam. So I love this, first of all, because what is a castle doing on this quiet residential street? And believe it or not, this is a home. You can kind of tell what the function is by that tower. That is a diamond in the tower because this was the home of the Diamond Cutters Union. Part of the negotiations that let Jewish people practice openly included that Jewish people couldn't do any job that had a guild. A guy named Jan van Zuijten led the Gentile workers on strike, and originally the Jewish workers weren't going to join, in part because they had fewer options and in part because they had better conditions and community ties. But a man named Henry Pollack met with Jan right at a theater that was right up there, and together they decided to bring the entire industry on strike. And within a couple of years, they had founded the ANDB. It was the first union to have Jewish and Gentile members. It pioneered everything we love about Dutch working conditions. They pioneered the 8-hour workday because Henry believed it was really, really important to us to talk about Black Amsterdammers. Amsterdammers from the Caribbean, Amsterdammers from Indonesia, from Africa, from North Africa, from the Middle East. Sometimes people seem to think that Amsterdam was all white until 1970, and that's just not the case. People who run the archives are so generous with their knowledge and their time. I built my queer tour at ILIA, the Queer Archive. There was this one archivist who just set me up with this mound of books. And by the time I was done, I had the full arc of Amsterdam's rainbow history. When you see a name on a monument in Amsterdam, especially within the Stadhouderskade, it is always a white man. And with the resistance monuments, that's a huge problem because actually people of color were disproportionately represented, so there was a much higher percentage of Black and Asian people in the resistance. Actually, I think part of the difference is I don't focus on that. When I'm telling Black history, racism is part of it. Colonialism and slavery are part of that history. But I try to focus on the people, and I try to focus on, I think they're really inspiring stories. What do we want people to take away? So of course we talk about the negative, but we try to really convey the inspirational people who have navigated them.